All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, always got to be shouting out the sponsors: Sovereign Extracts, some great CBD oils, some great cartridges, CBD, THC, etc. Also, big shout out to USG Canada. They're putting out great apparel for boxers, MMA fighters, and for fans alike. We've got a big event coming up, BKFC 14. It's happening on November 13th, and we've got a title fight in the 155-pound division between Luis Palomino and Jim Alers. And I've got Jim on the show. How's your day going so far there, Jim?
Man, so far so good.
That's
How
awesome.
about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I appreciate you asking about that, but it seems like things in the Allers household is going pretty solid lately. I understand a 7th birthday recently took place, so happy belated birthday to Ant-Man there.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah, man, his birthday is the day before mine, so yeah, good time.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know there was that dynamic where there was like the couple different birthdays there, so just a great time to be had for all, it seems. But that seemed like it was the case with BKFC 12 there. Like you were a guest at the show and your wife came out and the whole bit. What was it like to kind of be in the guest sort of spot as opposed to readying yourself to knuckle up? What was the experience like?
It's always good to like just get to sit down and actually watch the show. I don't think I got to ever watch a live bare knuckle fight until my first time fighting for them. I think at BKFC 7, and I was flown out before also to go to the Artem and Jason Knight fight part 2, and I just kind of fell in love with watching it. I haven't really missed a fight since then. Also, it's awesome. I get to just kind of interact with the fans and take those pictures and let them know that I appreciate them also, because honestly, without them, we wouldn't even have this show. So I definitely don't mind taking pictures. I'll spend an hour taking pictures with everybody.
Yeah, well, that's a great attitude to have, man, and I'm glad to hear rather that you enjoyed yourself there and everything. But readying to make the 5th appearance out there and stuff like that, and it seems like you're really excited about the Police Gazette belt being up for grabs, not being fought for in over 100 years, and just the rich history behind it. So as much as it's important to be hoisting that BKFC title and kind of carrying that flag forward, like how much does the historical significance of that Police Gazette belt mean to you and just the legacy overall?
I really am excited about that belt. That belt has history behind it, and I also love the fact that they just don't put it up for grabs for anybody. Luis Palomino, he fought for the 155 BKFC belt, and I guess they decided it wasn't a worthy enough fight yet for that belt, and so it wasn't up for grabs. And I like that they just don't put it up for anything. You have to really prove yourself. So I'm happy that they decided that my fight is going to be worth it, and they're going to put the belt up for grabs, and I can't wait to hang it up at my gym.
Yeah, that kind of seems to underscore the beef in a way there, because I understand that things kind of really started going when Palomino had blocked you on Instagram because he seemed like pretty bothered by the characterization that he didn't deserve a title fight after posting up a 1-0 bare knuckle record. And it just seems like the rivalry has like really mounted heading into this one, and like you guys had trained in the past and everything like that. So can you kind of talk about that? Like, is this like one of the more intense kind of like fight preparations that you've had in terms of like things heating up with an opponent?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if someone goes into the UFC and they could be an undefeated boxer, undefeated kickboxer, do everything they can outside of the UFC. And do you honestly believe that someone like that will get a title fight even though they won one fight in the UFC? No, they have to work their way up in that sport. It's a different sport. So granted, yeah, Louis did a bunch of things in MMA. He fought some good people. But bare knuckle is a different sport, and I kind of felt that it was a bit disrespectful to not only myself but the rest of the roster, that this guy just comes in, has one fight, and jumps in line. Yeah, we were supposed to fight, and they were going to put the title on the line. But honestly, I just thought that they were going to put the title on the line because I'm deserving of the title. training, as the usual, man. I train very hard all the time. I constantly train, so I'm always ready. I think for the first time we were supposed to fight, they only gave me like 4 weeks notice, but my coach ended up getting COVID, and he was out for about 3 weeks with that. He's had positive tests for about 3 weeks, so that would have left me like a week of training. So, I think I made the smart decision to not take the fight. And, he keeps using that over and over and over again, saying that I was scared or whatnot. I fought 4 fights in 6 months. I fought Leonard Garcia. I fought Julian Lane. Julian Lane's a former world champion in bare knuckle. Leonard Garcia, I don't need to talk about what he's done. And I fought the Knockout of the Year award, Caleb Harris fighter. And, I put that work in. So I'm not scared of anybody. I think when I win that belt as loyalty to my coach, I want him there. When my hand is raised, his hand is raised. This is not a one-man team. I do this with him. We do it together. This is our thing.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm hoping that the coach is, feeling better overall and whatnot. But you mentioned he kept bringing that up as like a bit of a, jab at you. That seemed to come up a few times during the, intense press conference there where Shannon Briggs kind of had to get in the middle of everything.
Right. It's like, really, that's the only thing he has really to say about it. But it is what it is, I gave him some extra time now to prepare. Like I mentioned yesterday in an interview, I kind of blessed him with a free title shot against someone who had 1 week notice to fight. So of course, Louis was gonna look good, man. He had a fight scheduled a while back. It got canceled, so he was training for that fight. So I think he had like a 10-week fight camp for that title fight against the guy who had 1 week notice. So, of course, he went out there and kind of demolished the guy. But I think if Isaac Valley Flag had a little bit more time, it would have been a bit different, that fight.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question, just if you were, particularly impressed by that last performance there, but doesn't seem to be the case necessarily.
Yeah, if he would have lost, or if it would have even been a hard fight, then, I would have been very unimpressed. But I was expecting him to win. I was expecting him to win pretty fast. This guy took a fight on 1 week notice, cut a bunch of weight. So, of course, he was going to get rocked and finished pretty fast.
And I'm curious as to how the preparations have been going for this particular fight. Like, if it's kind of business as usual, or if there's certain, I guess, like, COVID-minded adjustments you have to make to facilitate getting in the best camp. Like, how's the preparations and just the overall methodology been for this fight camp?
At first, we had to make all these COVID adjustments and everything, but I think as the world starts to understand COVID a little bit more, and we're seeing it's not as dangerous as they portrayed it, and whatever it is. I know a lot of people have their own different opinions, but training just kind of got back to normal. And like I tell people, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'm continuing to do my thing. I push the cardio. I want to be able to know that I can push that pace for 5 rounds and not get tired.
Yeah, for sure. Weaponizing pace is definitely a key thing, and I haven't asked this in past interviews, actually. Like, is there, I guess, like some of the old bare knuckle tricks that you use for your preparation? Is there any kind of like strengthening of the neck muscles that some of those guys do, like the hand strengthening kind of techniques? Like, are there some of those old techniques that you're breaking out for bare knuckle, or just similar methodology for like an MMA fight in a sense?
Yeah, I think I didn't really go back and try to do any of those things that they used to do in the past. I probably should, because I'll probably strengthen up my hands and stuff that needs to be strengthened up for these fights. But yeah, I kind of just do my own thing. I train everything all the time. I train Brazilian jiu-jitsu every single day still. I wrestle multiple times a week. I do strength and conditioning. I do my sprints. I do my cardio. I do boxing. So I train overall to be prepared for anything, because I do feel in bare knuckle, it's not just what's different about this bare knuckle type of fighting is that we get to clinch, you know, and I think my wrestling comes to a big part of that fight is my wrestling, and it comes into play because I'm able to control my opponent. I'm able to make them tired with the clinch, move them around, and in regular boxing and the old style bare knuckle, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, I definitely, get what you're saying on that end. And yeah, you have been keeping up with the, grappling even on a competitive level. Like I was seeing you were getting in some grappling even like earlier in the year there. So how important is that to kind of like, be competing in that as you're concurrently also competing in BKFC, just also getting the love for grappling competition going too?
Yeah, I want to be known as like a jack of all trades. I want to always be ready. I don't want to wait around for the next fight. So, my first 4 fights in bare knuckle, I fought 4 fights in 6 months, and even in between those fights, I still did grappling matches. I believe that if I stay ready, I can just be prepared for whatever. That's why I fought. I think two fights with 4 weeks notice. I was gonna fight this other fight with 4 weeks notice because I don't need that time to be. Oh well, give me some time. Let me get ready. I don't want to miss out on opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought to ask about this because this was really cool. I saw a few weeks ago that there was some fan art that one of your students put together there, Ryan. So can you kind of talk about that? Just like the, I guess, associated feelings with seeing something like that? Because I imagine that'd be a pretty cool feeling there, man.
Oh man, I love it. I love seeing when fans take their time to just do anything for me, whether it be art or just send me a message and pictures. It's surreal to kind of see that I'm a role model or somebody that people look up to, or somebody that entertains people, and they take their time out to either watch me or whatever it is. So that is a cool feeling to have, and I love it. It's something that I'll keep forever and hang up at my gym for others to see.
And I wanted to touch on this briefly too, because I'd noticed a couple months ago at this point you'd had a combat jiu-jitsu match, and I think that's a cool kind of confluence of the bare knuckle and the submission grappling in a way. So what was the experience like getting to be in a combat jiu-jitsu match? Like, is that something you'd like to pursue more in the future, possibly?
I wish there was more opportunities. My last match, actually, the guy decided for it not to be combat jiu-jitsu, but I have done combat jiu-jitsu in the past. I'm a combat jiu-jitsu champion for the organization Combat Night.
Oh, cool.
And, man, it's so much fun. Like, just knowing that I can use my jiu-jitsu, and a lot of times it's jiu-jitsu guys who are they're not quite sure if they want to make that transition to MMA, so they think, oh, let me try combat jiu-jitsu. And what happens a lot is that they just try to do jiu-jitsu and they forget that you can hit. So I usually, I'm just using my ground and pound and my MMA skills to kind of get me through those matches, and so far I've been pretty successful with that in that sport as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. But bringing it back to the bare knuckle stuff here, because I was noticing the Knucklepedia Police Gazette rankings have yourself and Jim out, or rather yourself and Luis Palomino at 1 and 2 respectively there. So I mean, it's great that this is for the vacant title. But just beneath there, I'm also seeing Artem Lobov at number 3, and it seems like that based on certain past interviews, you don't necessarily know that he's gonna get back to BKFC and toe the line again. Like, is there any level of desire to want to get in there with Artem Lobov? Do you kind of think it's like in his rearview mirror at this point? Like, has your perception, I guess, changed since you were, talking about Lobov in that interview?
Yeah, I think I don't really have any desire, really, I guess, to face him. I think he's done with it. I think he was just really in it for the payday. And I think he had a 3-fight contract, so I'm not sure if he's really going to come back. I mean, I think he knows it, and I think really the rest of the world knows it, that he's just, an average fighter. I think he has a losing MMA record, like 14 and 16 or something crazy like that. So I want to fight the best in the world, not someone who has a name because, they're riding off Conor McGregor's back.
No, fair enough, man. And I wanted to ask about the audiobooks too, because I asked you in a past interview about music, but you were saying that audiobooks is more something you put on like with training and certain things like that. Are there particular audiobooks you're digging into for this camp here?
Yeah, right now I got two audiobooks that I'm listening to at the same time. I got one, Atomic Habits. Really cool. Just kind of teaches you that about how habits are formed and how you can form good habits, how you can break bad habits. That's one that I've been really enjoying lately. And then I'm listening to the 10X rule, just business mindset. I have my gym and everything, so of course I'm trying to think of ways to grow it and keep it successful as well.
Yeah, for sure. Great mentality to have, just always growing and getting better, man. But I want to be mindful of your time, man. I presume you got a lot of stuff on the go before this fight here and all that. So is there anything you'd like to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, Jim?
Man, I'm just excited to be in there, I love that I don't really have the same pressure that I had when I was in the UFC. In the UFC, I was so worried about being cut and something that I worked so hard to get. And I think, I retired from fighting in 2018, and then this just kind of came to me. So I said, yeah, I'll try it out for fun, and it's just kind of blown up. So that's kind of the mindset that I've been trying to keep, is just, have a good time. And win or lose, I'm blessed that I have my family with me. I have my school that's doing well and successful, and I can't ask for much more than that. So, I just want to tell the fans, definitely times are hard now, and just keep pushing through and be thankful about the blessings that you do have.
Yeah, that's a great message, man. And it's a cool road heading into the fight night and everything like that, like Kevin Gleason and whatnot. Just, a couple of Flanagan High School class of 2005 graduates there. So that's cool to see on that end too, man.
Yeah, man, I love getting to work with someone that I've known for so long, and just kind of repping our school and where we're from, and it's cool to get messages and stuff from old classmates telling us, that they're watching, that they're proud of us. So that's always a cool feeling too.
Yeah, they're going to be among a sizable group checking this one out on the Bare Knuckle TV app. That goes at BKFC 14, November 13th, a title fight at 155 pounds between Luis Palomino and Jim Alers. Always appreciate the time and getting to talk to you, Jim. Best of luck with the remaining part of the preparations, and just have a great rest of your day too, man.
Thank you. I